Anonymous bank accounts, Swiss numbered accounts, secret bank accounts, they all mean the same thing. For over a century, the rich, powerful, and well-connected have used anonymous bank accounts to do all sorts of things. And in today's video, we're going to pull back the curtain on these secret accounts and give you the rundown on what they are, why they existed, and whether or not you can open one for yourself. But first, if this is your first time here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure you get alerted every time we post new banking opportunities. Dictators, arms dealers, intelligence agencies, and cheating spouses have used anonymous bank accounts for over a century. Some wanted privacy, some did it to avoid taxes, some wanted an untraceable account to disguise nefarious activities. Others used these accounts to hide money from ex-husbands and ex-wives, disgruntled business partners, or creditors. But, and this is important, the desire to be private and maintain anonymity does not mean someone is a criminal or up to no good. Many people have used anonymous bank accounts throughout history to protect their nest eggs from corrupt governments or illegal seizures or even confiscation in their home countries. But let's start at looking at exactly what is an anonymous bank account. An anonymous account, also referred to as a numbered account, is a bank account where the identity of the account holder is replaced with a multi-digit number or code. The name of the client is only accessible to the client and a small circle of senior staff at the bank. Traditionally, the account holder's name and code number were written on an index card, stashed away in the bank's safe, and was only accessible to the banker and their boss. Like any account, the money could either sit there and do nothing, or it could be invested and grow. It was up to the client. But here's where things started to get dodgy. It was the account holder's responsibility to report the account to the appropriate tax authorities. If the owner didn't declare the account, it was nearly impossible for tax authorities to find out that it existed. In many cases, this meant that the owner wouldn't pay taxes on the money in that anonymous account. Basically, in the era of banking secrecy, the thinking was that if no one knew about your money, it wasn't taxable. Well, that era is over. Everything changed in 2007. That's when UBS got busted for helping Americans evade taxes with numbered accounts. Not surprisingly, the US retaliated and rolled out the big guns. It took 3 years for Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, or FATCA, to be introduced. That was quickly followed by a similar effort from the OECD in 2014, which you know as the Common Reporting Standards, or CRS. All of this was then followed by the Panama Papers leak in 2016, which then helped to expedite global information sharing. Governments everywhere cried out for more transparency, more compliance, more tax revenue. So today we have tougher banking laws, beefier KYC and AML rules, and new compliance standards across the board. Translation, banking secrecy is dead. And for the most part, so are anonymous bank accounts. The point is, banks automatically send your bank account details to tax authorities now. And in order to open a bank account, banks must know who the ultimate beneficial owner of the account is. If they don't, they'll get slapped with massive penalties, lose their license, and possibly be subjected to excruciating investigations. So, why do people still want anonymous bank accounts? A few of the common reasons include fascination and intrigue. Movies have added to the mystique of anonymous bank accounts. They're everywhere. Spy thrillers, Spielberg movies, Jason Bourne. Even The Wolf of Wall Street has a Swiss banking scene where the main character opens an anonymous bank account. Second, true privacy. If you're from a country with corruption and weak rule of law, you might not want corrupt bank employees or government officials to have access to your private bank information. This makes you more vulnerable to blackmail, kidnapping, extortion, and a host of other unpleasantries. You might be concerned about privacy if you live in a litigious country, especially one known for frivolous lawsuits and financial predators. If bank and government employees can easily access your personal information and bank account details, you're an easy target. Fourth, protecting personal data. Some people might want an anonymous bank account to protect themselves from identity theft and cyber criminals. If your name, personal details, and account information are easily accessible and splashed all over a bank's internal system, you're vulnerable. Just like the 80 million clients of JP Morgan Chase that had their data exposed in 2014, or the 100 million clients at Capital One that were hacked in 2019. Fifth, asset protection. Other people want to open an anonymous bank account for more traditional reasons, such as more robust asset protection. A numbered account can shield your life savings from collections against fraudulent claims and frivolous lawsuits. It can also protect you from predetermined guilt, which is a fancy way of saying your money is frozen by the court because they think you're guilty before trial. Finally, taxes. Let's not be naive. One of the main reasons for wanting an anonymous bank account is to not pay taxes. Unfortunately, many people incorrectly think that the best way to minimize taxes is by opening an anonymous bank account that isn't attached to your name. This is tax evasion. This is illegal in most countries. Don't do it. It's not the 1980s. You will get caught. It's also important to remember that banking secrecy is dead, and banks automatically send your bank details to tax authorities in your home country. So, is it possible to open anonymous bank accounts today? Well, in the traditional sense of the term, anonymous bank accounts are no longer possible because of modern requirements like KYC, AML, FATCA, and CRS. Though, for some reason, certain people still think it's a great idea to try and open anonymous bank accounts. When they do this, they often have a third party set up bank accounts for them. This usually involves the third party being the signatory and the perceived owner of the account. But another person is the actual owner and uses the account from behind the scenes. In case you're wondering, this is illegal in pretty much every country. Alternatively, some people buy companies with functioning bank accounts that were set up by the previous owner or a nominee. It's then up to the new owner to inform the bank and change the signatory. Most people inform the bank of the ownership change and then change the signatory. But some people don't do this. Instead, they continue to operate the account under the old signatory. Again, this is almost always illegal and violates the term of use for the account. Plus, after the bank catches on, the account will be frozen or shut down. So, what do people do instead? Well, it depends on the type of benefits you're trying to obtain by having an anonymous bank account. For instance, by using 100% legal internationalization strategies, you can reduce your taxes, increase your asset protection, and remove leverage that any one government has over you and your money. And to do this, you're going to need to strategically use international banking. We outline how international banking supports your internationalization strategy in our report, the International Banking Blueprint. It's packed with rock-solid strategies and details on how to get started, including the ironclad approach that our team uses every single day to identify top banking jurisdictions for clients, the Snowbird secret that can save you thousands of dollars every year by choosing the right countries to bank in, the 3 factors determining where and how to bank for every single person regardless of nationality, and how to use foreign jurisdictions to get financial freedom and flexibility that always keeps you in a position of strength. How you use these strategies and actually get started is going to depend on who you are, where you're from, and how much money you have. For instance, one of the most common strategies for reducing or eliminating taxes include becoming a non-resident in your home country, establishing tax residency in a low tax or no tax jurisdiction. Alternatively, you could get residency in a territorial tax country that does not tax foreign sourced income. Classic examples of territorial tax countries include Panama and Hong Kong. Both of these scenarios will require you to set up banking for your investments, structures, and of course, international bank accounts. But if you do all this, you'll have already achieved 90% of the benefits that an anonymous account can offer you, and it's all 100% legal. To get started, you'll need to consider many different variables, but one of the most important is accessing the best banks that will meet your objectives. We help you get started with the International Banking Blueprint, which you can access immediately when you join our flagship service, GlobalBanks Insider. With GlobalBanks Insider, you'll get instant access to our entire archive of banking intelligence reports, and you will also get access to the GlobalBanks database, home to more than 250 banks from 50 plus countries, including detailed bank profiles, client preferences, and a lot more. Finally, you'll also get real-time analyst support from our team of experts, ready to answer your most pressing banking questions and to make suggestions on which banks meet your internationalization objectives. To get started, just click the link in the description below to learn more about GlobalBanks Insider. And before signing off, don't forget to hit subscribe so you get alerted every time we share new banking opportunities. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.